Welcome to Gun Owners of America, State of the Second podcast. I'm Kailey.
And I'm John, and I'm glad to welcome back our friends, Dan and Danielle from AmmoSquared. Guys, thank you for coming back on the show again.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
So, do we need to do rapid fire?
Why not?
All right, we're going to go into go into our first segment, rapid fire questions. We're going to ask you 5 questions. What is the number one selling caliber right now?
9mm.
It's always 9mm.
That was a basic answer.
What is one firearms movie that you would make more realistic?
More realistic.
Can we say realistic gun movies? The Way of the Gun and Heat are my top 2.
Top 2,
yes.
Yeah.
I don't know about
More realistic, probably.
Star Wars.
The stormtroopers would no longer miss. They would be an actual threat.
I think you just want lightsabers and blasters. I'm just...
Who doesn't?
Sure. Well, since we're on the Star Wars theme, I guess I'll continue with it because this is great. Jedi or Sith?
I guess Jedi. I don't know.
Well, the Siths get more done, but I'd say, for morality's sake, I'd have to go with Jedi.
You get something done called Sith.
I guess I'm just called Sith.
What was your latest impulse buy?
Okay, impulse buy. Oh, I'd probably. Well, okay. I bought The Institutes by John Calvin.
I bought a more interesting impulse buy.
Yeah, I was like, that's not very.
Comp has these. They're these cases that look like a chair, like a folding chair, but it's for your shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
And so you put it in there, and then you just sling it on your back. You can put it in your car. I haven't actually used it yet. But that was
We don't vacation much.
impulse.
What? That's a thing?
Yeah.
It's like one the American flag.
Yeah, right,
One's like
American flag.
navy
Oh,
blue or
don't say the
something.
American flag. The next Shay will buy that in a heartbeat.
So awesome.
What is your dream gun to buy that you don't already own?
For me, it's an MP5 SD.
Okay,
Full auto.
that's a good one.
How about you?
The M249.
There you go.
Both great. I can't argue with any of that. We're going to go ahead and get into this. Reintroduce the folks to who you guys are, what you guys do, kind of your background.
Yeah, so we are Dan and Danielle Morton, owners, founders of AmmoSquared. So we started AmmoSquared in 2015 out of our garage.
Mm-hmm.
AmmoSquared, the best way to say what AmmoSquared is we are building a ammunition safety net for America. So we've totally changed kind of the idea of buying ammunition, because with our business model, you buy the ammunition, but you also store the ammunition with us. And then instead of buying something specific, like you'd go either e-commerce or you'd go into the store, with us, you're buying a generic, so say 9mm practice, that fills a need. And then we ship, whenever you're ready to get your ammo, we'll ship it to you, and we ship a variety of brands and bullet weights that meet your need. And so we're taking it out of the realm of just an e-commerce transaction and making ammo more of like an asset that you can store. And then if you want to, you can exchange it for other things. We can even sell it back if the price goes up. So it's a whole different take on ammunition.
So since we talked last, you guys have had rapid expansion.
Yes.
Ton of new people. What do you attest that to?
Honestly, we were talking about it today. So a lot of businesses, it seems like they'll go for 8 or 10 years, and then all of a sudden there's an inflection point. It's like a tipping point. I think that we just finally kind of hit that. We've had a lot of time when it was a plateau, and in 24, so last year, we've pretty much quadrupled since the beginning of 24. So I was looking back at our stats from the last time we were on the show. We had about, 40,000
members. Yeah.
members. And then right now we've got 147,000 members.
Wow.
So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
so that's almost tripling. But the growth is just kind of part of, I think that we finally kind of caught up, or I guess the public caught up to the idea of what we were trying to do, because for so long we were kind of just this crazy idea. So.
And we have an amazing marketing guy.
Yes. Yes.
How about you? They sign up.
Yes, exactly. Well, that's been
That's
exactly.
been huge. Yeah. Having the right person doing the right job.
Well, and if I'll just kind of go a little bit more, I was just talking to we just had our 10-year anniversary. So we brought all of our folks out to Boise, where we're at, and we had a big event for the week, and we put it on our blog. And one of the things, looking in this room we had 28, 30 people at the time, and just thinking about how much more horsepower we have as a company. And so it's like every time we add a new person, then that adds a little bit more horsepower to the company. And so for so long, it was, it started with just us, and then we had just a couple employees. And then, so it was a long period of like, just say 6 to 10 employees. And then looking at it on a chart from mid 24 until now, we're just kind of going like that as far as just adding people. And so we're able to now, it's all kind of that horsepower creates leverage. And then, so now I don't have to do the marketing. I've got, my guy, Bob, is doing the marketing, but now he's got a team. And so, it's just this leverage. It's great.
That's amazing. And I'd love to see how you guys have grown so much in the last year. The same question that we had last time, and I think it is imperative to bring it back up again, is when you guys start deciding, I mean, you guys had a limited number of calibers. Are we expanding calibers? What is that looking with this new growth of people coming in going, well, I want this or I want that, and kind of expanding the business side?
Yeah. So the biggest thing in the early days, we started off with 4 calibers, right? We only wanted to offer that. And then we gradually added calibers. And then we made the mistake of just adding every caliber under the sun, right? I literally went through the Midway USA catalog and just added everything, because the way our business model works is that we don't stock that caliber until somebody actually signs up for it. And then once they sign up for it, we just need to stay ahead of that, right? So I have that inventory on hand. And so we had 500 plus calibers. But then what we realized during the shortage was that you can have people sign up for these things, but if I can't stay ahead, I can't buy, then that's a problem. And so then after the shortage, then we trimmed it all the way back down to 60 calibers. But then since then, we've been adding them back. And we were talking earlier about the ammo caliber of the month. And so this month it's 25 and 32 auto, which are not ones that we normally stock, but we're putting it out there to our members to say, hey, this month only buy as much as you want so that you can store it with us and it'll be there. Then at the end of the month, we'll turn it off. And then, we'll decide at that point if it makes sense to offer it. Like we brought back 410 for permanent for now, because it's a very popular caliber. But it's a balancing act of giving people the calibers that they want to sign up for, but from a business standpoint, being able to guarantee that we can get them. So that's kind of where we're at.
So you're telling me I can't get like something weird, like a 32 Smith & Wesson long?
And
someone with a revolver in that.
327 Federal. You could shoot that.
We were just talking about 327 Federal the other day.
Oh, wait.
Yeah. It's one of those weird cartridges that I got really into, like looking it up, because it's such an interesting cartridge. It's one of those things, like the weird cartridges that have been coming out. So like just yesterday, and this is way so people who are watching this in the future are like, wow, that was a long time ago. Like 22 Creedmoor. And we're seeing a resurgence in different caliber offerings now. Like, recently on the pistol side, we had 30 Super Carry, and 327 Federal has been kind of making this weird shift. And now even today, there's a lot of people who are talking more about like 32, because 32 is starting to pick up and things like that. So as a business, how do you keep on with all these new ammo trends, especially with the long range calibers that there's a new Creedmoor, a PSR coming out every other week or something like that.
Yeah. So we actually just, our caliber of the month for last month was 6.5 PRC. And so it's that and we gauge that demand based on that. So,
We literally have customers emailing us, can you carry this caliber?
Oh, yeah.
You guys can carry this
Eight-
caliber? We keep a list.
was a-
So like when customers email us, we keep a list of those requests. And, as we get more requests for calibers, we'll first introduce it as a caliber of the month. And then there's the potential for it becoming something we regularly carry.
but I think for us, it's like having a strategy around it as opposed to what we did in the old days, which was, oh, we'll just throw them all out there and like let people auto buy them forever. And it's like, that's not really going to work now.
Yeah.
I do have some 30 super carry that is
We've got
putting it back on a shelf
Yep.
because we offered it way back when it first came out.
Mhm.
And it was during that time we had every caliber and you can imagine, but
And then we couldn't give it away.
yeah, we could like literally
And that's always the fear when it comes to like a new caliber, because people will carry it and then you got to worry, okay, well, people actually going to buy this? Is this something going to try? 30 super carry is one of the interesting ones that the more I start researching it, the more I'm like, oh, it's kind of cool, but also like,
Not
I could buy 380 or 900 or like,
There's not enough platforms,
true.
right? And so if they had chambered, if they had done something a little more common, and
it was chambered in the shield.
it was a shield and a nighthawk, and that was it.
Yeah.
So
And then you had what we had a discussion as a group of friends a week ago and talking about calibers 224 Valkyrie.
yeah.
Remember Valkyrie?
Yeah, we carried that too.
It was like everybody,
It's really popular.
Yeah.
and then it died because nobody could get the barrel twist right.
Mhm.
And
Oh, is that
yeah, they were. There was a long argument between 1 in 6.5 and 1 in 7.5, and the 1 in 6.5 was so fast that the projectiles were blowing up halfway down range because the projectiles just couldn't handle it. And it's weird, like they're as an industry, and you guys from the ammo side, you guys want to see this innovation. A lot of people are calling for innovation and things like that, but then if there's not a demand for a caliber, and then you guys are like 3 people call you and like, I want
Mhm.
this. It's like, well, now it comes down to a business decision of, do we really want to stock this? Is this something that's going to last? How many chamberings are there?
There has to be widespread
Yeah.
adoption, because if there's not, then it
Yeah.
just doesn't make sense to
I
carry
know.
it. Yeah.
We just added, I think, 6 arc last year. So I think 6 arc is kind of like
Yeah.
224 Valkyrie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of that
It's in,
popular.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6.5 PRC, I'm a big fan of.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I took it out to 1,200 yards.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
It's a good round. Highly recommend. Because somebody sent me I had a rifle with it chambered in. I'm like, what am I going to do with this? Like 6.5 PRC? What is 6.5 PRC?
Yeah.
As a business having to be nimble around certain calibers and what's going on, it's like, besides your customers reaching out, and if you go, at what threshold do you go, well, maybe this is something we should actually carry and do and see what it goes? Or is it kind of like, okay, with this new caliber of the month, let's test the water, see how it goes, and then kind of go, all right, we're going to go full into this?
I think we've learned to be a little more conservative, move a little slower, and test the waters first. Yeah. So if SHOT Show manufacturers, if they're rolling out some new calibers, I won't be immediately creating auto buys for our customers. Like I was just saying, 8.6. I mean, 8.6 is popular. What is it? 338 Creedmoor? Is it 338 Arc? 338 Arc. So we haven't jumped into that bandwagon yet, but if it becomes popular and a lot of folks are asking for it, then we'll dip our toes in the water. We'll do the caliber of the month, because the reason we do a caliber of the month. So kind of just to back up a little bit. So the way our business model works is that you sign up for an auto buy of something like 9mm practice, and that's setting a specific dollar amount, and it's, infinite, so there's no stop. But it's not like, oh, I'm only going to do this for 3 months. You can stop it. But like on our side, we don't say it's only good for 3 months or something like that, except for caliber of the month, which we only do it for that month. So then at the end of that month, we turn it off. So now I know exactly how many rounds of that I need to have stored for my customers. Because if we did offer something like, an 8.6, we might do it that way. And then if we have enough people buy into it, then I buy X amount of ammo, we store it, And then when people ship, we'll ship it. But then my, I guess risk on that caliber is limited.
We've seen shortages before, and manufacturers will put all their resources into the major calibers during a shortage. So it behooves us to be a little bit more cautious with those rounds that just aren't quite as, maybe they're more hunting rounds. They're not really, because it's typically the NATO rounds that they crank out during shortages. And so, it behooves us to make sure that we're stocking the things that we know we can get. And so more limited offerings and things that maybe are seasonally manufactured, or they might be shut off entirely to make way for other things. So,
well, I remember during the last shortage, we had 6.5 Grendel, and that we couldn't get it. And so it was like a year basically. So the way our thing works is that if there is a shortage, your auto buy is still running, but it's almost like you're
just waiting in line.
We're waiting in line for you, so that when that caliber becomes available, then we allocate it out to our customers. And so it's like a pre-buy in a way. And so I had a whole bunch of customers for a year that they were just waiting for their 6.5 Grendel, and we couldn't get it. And then finally, obviously things, because the manufacturers were working on their 5.56 and their 9mm and all the majors things. And then once we finally got it, then it's kind of like a flood. It's like, okay, we just got a bunch of it, or it could be a trickle and then a flood, so it's we allocate a little bit, and then those people, maybe they were waiting, then they ship it. But that's essentially how we handle the shortages.
So I will speak as the consumer side, because I'm very proud of my accounts with you guys. I don't know exactly how long I've had the account. It's been a while now.
Was it before our last podcast?
I think it was at the podcast.
Yeah, I think I signed up because I think I signed up to do some research about you guys. I think it was like, all right, I gotta figure out how this thing works.
Yeah.
And so I've been impressed of the, I don't want to say addictiveness, because that puts it in a bad light.
No.
But there is something kind of fun and a nice little dopamine hit when you go and you check your account and you're seeing the rapid growth of having the account set up. But I think I look at things through probably a different lens than John, because he focuses more on things of having been in the industry for a while, and from that side of the thing, that side of the spectrum. Mm-hmm. And I look at things more from what would be in the best interest or in the mindset of a first time gun owner, or a new gun owner who's starting to get more into practicing, because I feel like there's so many potential roadblocks and barriers to the lack of education, of knowing, what goes in my gun, what is practice rounds versus defensive rounds. And so one of the things that I love about your all's platform is how, I don't want to say dumbed down, but how easy it is for someone who may not have any experience or very little experience in purchasing outside of maybe their first transaction at a gun store, when someone said, oh, buy this, and they can go, okay, well, I have a 9mm, and yes, I need, defensive rounds, and I need practice rounds, and okay, cool, I'm set up. And then they can have it set to kind of auto ship. And it's a nice little way for individuals to feel confident about their purchasing, and to take some of the mental stress or the barrier to entry away from the actual transaction part, to get people and encourage people to get out on the range.
Yeah. I mean, we definitely simplify the choices.
That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah. Because you let's say most people's first purchase is typically a pistol, right? And depending on different things, they usually choose a 9mm. And so, you create an account with us and you look at 9mm, and it's not it doesn't say brand names, it says purpose. Right. So, I'm practice. Self-defense, subsonic. I don't know what that means. You will in a little while down the road, get you down the road on that one. But it does simplify it. And actually a lot of first-time gun owners really do love our service because of that, because also there's always kind of that fear of looking dumb. Right. And you shouldn't feel that way. But, if you're new to something, you don't know much, right? You don't even know what you don't know. And so it's a little bit of a relief to just go online, look at that, see the purpose of things. Because if you're looking at, any other e-commerce, you don't know the purpose of those rounds that you're buying. And so it really does simplify it for the newbie. And then also just for people who are okay with, I know what I'm going to use it for. Just send me that. And then breaking up percentages, right? Because you don't want 100% self-defense rounds if you're going to be practicing. You want to break it up. So you set your budget and then you say, okay, well, I want 70% to go to practice because I know I need to be practicing, but also like 30% for self-defense so that I can stockpile that, so that I'm confident that I have things that I can use for self-defense. So it really does simplify it.
Yeah, and what you said, you get that dopamine hit. So I think there's a couple different dopamine hits. There's the one of watching your account, like you log in and you see more rounds every time, and it runs in the background. So you don't have to do anything. You set it up, like we say, set it and forget it. And then you forget about it, and then you log in and you're like, wow, I've got 300 rounds. I didn't even realize it. And then the other thing that I like to say is that when you finally do either set up an auto ship or you just go in and hit the ship button and then you get that box, you don't really know what you're getting, right? And so it's a little bit like the loot crates and the different things where they send a variety. We send a variety that meets your purpose. And we do try to throw in, smaller brands once in a while, like real premium rounds once in a while. So for example, we bought a bunch of the polymer cased 308, the True Velocity, and that stuff's expensive. It's like $250 a round or something like that. But like for the two categories that we had it in match and we had it in a hunting category, we would just throw in a box, right? Because we're just letting people try things. And so we'll do that. We had some G9, which is, it's actually an Idaho company, but they have it's a external hollow point. And so it's not something that you might pick off the shelf if you're buying it yourself at a Cabela's or something.
It's pretty expensive.
It's pretty expensive, and it's different.
Yeah.
And so, but with our model, we can include that, but we don't include 100% of that, right? And so it's, if you have, let's say a 9mm self-defense, we send you the tried and true, the gold dots, the HSTs, that kind of stuff. And then, but we'll include some other things as well.
I like that variety too, on the consumer end, because, we're all sitting here in a pretty good place of privilege, right? Like we get to know all of the brands, we get to try a lot of things out, but it's exciting to try different brands. And it's kind of rewarding in a sense, because that you're helping some of those smaller brands make their mark on the industry as well. And so you kind of feel good about that. You get that variety, and I like it. I'm continuing to be a part of your membership, the ever-growing membership. I feel like I should get a t-shirt like I've been a member for.
We can make them happen.
Don't worry, Kailey, we got you.
Well, Kailey brought up new time gun orders, and I'm going to be honest, I haven't been on the AmmoSquared website for a minute, so shame on me. But have you guys ever considered doing like a drop-down tab of manufacturers and caliber so people can go, okay, I've got a Glock. I know it's a Glock, and I know it's
We've thought about that.
Yeah. Yeah, we've kind of done that we had a flow for a little while that was kind of by platform. And so not necessarily Glock, but it was kind of pistol. And then like, what are you trying to do?
Yeah.
And so it would be it was more of a step-by-step to get you to where you want to be. So I'll give you a little preview. So we are right now building our next generation platform. We're planning it. And one of the ideas that we've been kicking around is when you sign up, you should be able to just speak or type out whatever it is that you're trying to do. And then we can use like AI to vet that and then put it into the different ammo plans. So you could say something like, I have a Glock 9mm. I want to go to the range 5 times a week or 5 times a month. I want,
Like
I want this or that, and I have this, and then have it like help like create the ammo plan before you actually go in and, make the small adjustments and then hit, that you're ready. But it's something like that. I think that's kind of the future.
That is awesome. Then after that, they're going to do a subscription based, like get a random gun. Surprise!
Only if you've been a member for a long time.
You call it gun squared. And then you
Gun cubed.
yeah, you put a certain amount of money aside, and then a random gun shows up.
Yeah,
Well, I want a
yeah, but I don't know about random.
I want a 9mm pistol. Cool. Here's a high point.
Listen, I would love like to have a website like that where you put in your wish list
Oh yeah.
and it's like, you hit a certain threshold. It's like, congratulations. One of your wish list items is headed to your FFL. Cause like that would be so awesome.
It's a great dopamine. Surprise!
Surprise, you got a gun.
But like, it's something that you would like really want. I mean, that's pretty
Well, see, like me, I'm spoiled. I have too many guns, so I just like weird stuff. Weird stuff shows up. Like, here's this gun that you never thought you were ever going to buy. Here, surprise! Awesome.
Unless you're like me and you have a wish list from 20 years ago, like
Yeah.
on Amazon, and I forgot about it, and there was all these books, and I'm like, why would I ask for that? It was an interest I had 20 years ago.
It's just
Yeah.
I feel like, at least in my personal view, my wish list grows, at every event. Every time you
No, that's true.
you go to a range day, I'm like, oh, that would be an ad. Oh, that'd be an ad. But it's like,
And then you'd have to rank them so that when the money, because it would be like you're socking away money, right?
Yeah.
All of a sudden you've unlocked the number one thing on your wish list.
or you could do it something like, you do it by type. And then, because like, I don't know. I feel like the surprise element is almost like more intriguing to me. So like,
Yeah.
all of
You
the
want it, yeah.
all the
Like, I want somebody with a shotgun.
yeah, and then it's like you have like it says, okay, we're about to ship your random gun. Do you want to see it and defer it, or do you want to ship now? And like, I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah.
Like, it's like a gender reveal.
there's a blue box.
I was looking up a pistol for somebody and they had I can't remember what brand it was, but they were like cow pattern.
Oh yeah,
What I can't remember.
Glock did
Was it
that.
Glock?
Springfield did that too.
Cow pattern.
Yeah, it was like white with
Do they have a
black.
cheetah print version?
Probably. I don't know. The cow pattern was just like.
Have you heard the history of why there's these
No.
cow? Okay, a good friend of mine over at Springfield who runs their social media, and I won't say her name, forgot to ask permission from the bosses for an April Fool's joke, which was a cow patterned Hellcat and they called it the Hell Cow. And
That's awesome.
By a Hellcat.
it went viral.
Okay.
And they were like, this is awesome, but we also hate you because our phones are ringing off the hook and people are emailing us about the Hell Cow.
Isn't that how the tactical kilt got started?
Yes. So, word of the wise, any social media person out there, April Fool's jokes do not go over well sometimes. I think really well. Great, really well.
I think that you have the wrong impression of this story.
Oh, really great.
This is a net this is
Positive, no downside.
this was a feature, not a bug. Like this was, I mean, way to move product. I mean, the product didn't exist yet, but like way to move.
But now you've gained interest, right? So that's like you would put that out and you'd made a bunch of them and nobody wanted them. But instead you got
Now you're
people
gauging interest.
knocking down your door.
So-
Oh, it's an April Fool's joke, but like not.
I worked for it.
What a way to test market stuff.
That's
too. We got an idea. I'm like, it's gonna be crazy. We'll just keep that.
I found this out the hard way. So I worked for an ammo company, and while I was there, I made a April Fool's joke. It was called the 45 Moab, the mother of all bullets. I basically took two 45 projectiles, put them on top of each other. It said it had the power of a 12 gauge. The stats were ridiculous. The amount of phone calls we got, the people wanting to
They
buy it.
wanted it.
One of them was our mechanic, and for the truck we had for the company, and he called, and the guy who was working with him, he's like, "You need to talk to this guy." And I go, "What's up?" He goes, "I want to buy 1,000 rounds of this 45 Moab." I'm like, "You know what day it is?" And he goes, "April 1st." I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Oh, I hate you." I'm like, "I'm sorry, my bad."
You got me so excited.
I did a whole Instagram reel to reveal it with a Rickroll at the end, where I was shooting a 1911 and the footage from the nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
Was happening in the background. And yeah, it didn't go over great, but it was, you're right. It did gauge it. Springfield was, they ended up making the hell cow.
I mean, it's insane. Like it is
Funny.
Yeah.
peak amazing.
We did that. We did April Fools of offering coffee in ammo cans.
Don't ever offer people subscription coffee.
In ammo cans.
In ammo cans.
AmmoSquared
What it
coffee.
tastes like?
Well, no, we had so many people
Yeah.
that wanted that.
They're like, is this for real?
And we were like, we're not getting in the coffee business.
Look at our
Do that.
We can point you in the direction of some people we know. Go this way.
Just an ammo can full of Folgers. Like, good coffee.
We could call it like
You
desert
can taste your
sand.
choice.
Yeah.
Oh man, this April Fool's is great.
Hmm.
Don't do April Fool's jokes unless you're ready to make the product. Everybody I know in the industry.
I'm sure there are some things that have come out over the years that they wish were April Fool's jokes, though.
We don't talk about those products. I mean, anyway. So as you grow, after we got off track and had fun, as you grow as a company, what do you think is the next steps as you continue this process and continue to grow? What is going to be the next part for AmmoSquared?
So we're actually looking at a goal of storing 1 billion rounds of ammunition. So that's like the vision out there. And I think we can do it over the next 10 years. So we just opened up our second facility in Texas. I think when we first did the podcast, we were talking about it, but we figured we would have about, between 10 and 20 warehouses around the country, because the closer they are to people, the quicker they can get their ammo if, something happens. And then if we have this essentially America's ammunition reserve is what we talk about in our tagline. I mean, it's literally a safety net for America. To be able to have stored 1 billion rounds of ammunition means we're not going to go through these darn ammo shortages anymore, because that's really the ultimate goal. It's the peace of mind that comes from having that ammo stored. Then people aren't going to, hopefully my customers didn't run out into the, to the store and tried to buy what was on the shelf during 2020. They didn't add to the chaos, right?
Yeah.
And so future shortages, I'm hoping we are a net positive instead of a negative on the industry. So for us, what's next is just to continuing to grow and then continuing to improve our logistics and improve our our website. Like I was saying, like the 3.0 we call it 3.0. First version was WordPress. Second version is what we're using today, and then third version is what we're working on building, and then incorporating so many more features and just making it a real slick experience. So like what you're talking about, going in there and you have that dopamine hit, you're able to adjust your percentages, adjust your budget, make it just so easy and intuitive is what we want to do. But we've got a lot of ideas as far as offshoots of the main business, but I'm not going to, talk about those right now because we're not doing them yet. Maybe on a future podcast. I'll be like, now we're doing this.
So what I'm hearing is that we need to get the address for the warehouse after this, so when the apocalypse hits, we know where to go for 1 billion rounds. No, I mean, that's amazing. That's a huge goal.
Yeah.
And especially the next shortage is not when
Not
it's if, it's when this is going to happen, because we see it.
Yeah.
It's happened twice now.
Yeah.
And it can happen again just very quickly if something goes on.
Shortages too, right?
Yeah.
We had that Hamas attack in Israel, and there was a run on 5.56. I would call that a mini shortage-ish. Store shelves went empty for a bit.
Oh, same with the
Green tip.
the invasion of Ukraine that
Yep.
hit a thing, and
Yeah.
the Russian ammo ban. And
Yep, yep.
just
There's
So it's
definitely
never the same
many
thing that
shortages.
hits. That it's never you don't really see it coming. It's just whenever people seem to feel fearful, right? So you don't know what's going to cause that. And so it's better to just be prepared so that when you see that event where people are feeling fearful and they're all running to the store and, things are flying off the shelf, you just knew something was going to happen. You just didn't know quite what. And you just say, oh, yeah, ship me my ammo,
Peace of mind.
peace of mind. Yeah.
It's peace of mind, but it's also the ability to feel like you are taking the personal responsibility so that you have the capability to train, so that you have the capability to defend yourself. And, we talk a lot about personal responsibility and gun ownership and in advocacy. And part of that responsibility is a level of preparedness. And I think it's really awesome because not everyone has the capability or has the ability to store ammo in their house. And, you can, not everyone has the dedicated space. I think a lot about people living in, in apartments and every square inch matters. And so I think what you guys offer is a really awesome advantage for people to get ahead, to grow in value. I love seeing that, my not only my quote unquote ammo account is going up in rounds, but it's also what I bought, let's even say a year ago since the last shipment. It was a much different price. And, sometimes the ammo storage is outperforming, the stock market. And it's like, all right, I understand this. It's something that I can be a part of and have that safety and security.
So you hit on two things there. So one is the budgeting aspect. So being able to set it up so that just whatever you can afford comes out, so if it's $10 a week or $10 a month, then that's fine. If it's $50, like I've got, $50 or $60 tied to my paycheck, which is every 2 weeks, right? And so if it's $50 every 2 weeks and I've got $100 going towards ammo that otherwise I would maybe not be doing if I'm not actively going to the store and buying it or going on an e-commerce site and picking it out. So you don't have to shell out, a few $100 for a case, that kind of thing. So it just happens in the background. The other piece is the value aspect of it. And when you think about ammo, it's a store of value, right? It's like silver in my mind. It's like silver. It's like gold. It is something tangible that will never go to zero. And so if you have an ammo account or you've got ammo at home, that ammo has value. And like I was talking about some of these future ideas, it's like what can you do with that value? There's some things eventually that if you look at like examples of like gold depositories, as a model, like if we're talking about an ammunition depository now, like the things that we do today where you can exchange it for one thing for the other, you can sell it, so when the value goes up, if we're in another shortage, actually we've had it where people have sold out their inventory because they were buying a house. And so they needed that money. But in the meantime, they're accumulating it over time. And then that value is there in case they need it for an emergency situation or a shortage or anything like that. So it's a very interesting asset class.
Yeah. Well, the majority of people who are requesting a refund, it's because, I need the cash. So they were using it almost like a savings account. I mean, I'm sure they would have taken delivery had they not had some life event come up where they needed that money. But you can't go back to Cabela's and be like, hey, here you go. So, and it's as long as you didn't take delivery, we've got it in our warehouse and we just, refund you, take that, and then we allocate it to the next, the next person because we didn't ship it yet.
Yeah. The other thing that I like, as far as, getting into the mindset of, not every gun owner, whether this is a good or bad thing, they don't have the time to go to the range every week. Sometimes we've all probably had it happen where, some ammo sits in the back of our closets, probably not in the best, form to take care of it. But it's not like each person has a box where, you just, okay, well, they're up to a box and it goes here. Like you guys are constantly rotating through the inventory, rotating through the brands. And so it's not like you're getting something from, 100 years ago. You're getting, the best of the best.
Unless it's 30 super carry.
100 years from now, maybe still be.
We have some boxes in the warehouse that literally have dust on them.
Yeah.
Because it's somebody's ammo that they bought when we had all these crazy calibers.
And they haven't taken shipment yet.
35 Remington.
Yeah.
Or,
we have, I don't know if it belongs to anyone, but we have 9mm Flowbert. Like nobody even knows.
9mm
It looks like a little shotgun shell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
and I didn't even know when we bought the ammo, I was like, that box looks pretty old.
We brought it when one of the distributors was going out of business.
Yeah.
And so we just
Long
bought
time
a
ago.
bunch of random
Because we're like,
calipers.
somebody might want it. And no, nobody wants
Yeah.
it. That's why it was so
It's little rat shot stuff.
It looks kind of
like
yeah,
it.
it's like a flat top. So when you look at, you look at the top of a shotgun shell,
Yeah.
it looks like that.
And it's a brass.
And
It almost looks like a 38
It's solid brass.
special
Yeah, but like
kind of a case. Yeah, that's
it's
weird.
very,
I think the editors need to like find a picture. In a,
it's so old they may not.
Take a picture for you.
Let's take a picture and send it to you.
So if you're looking for that in particular, go to
we are getting the signal for my favorite segment of the show, and that is from the soapbox, where we take on the spicier takes of the day. So the floor is yours, guys. What are your hot takes?
Spicier takes.
Yes.
Like what's an example?
anything.
Anything?
Anything that you're passionate and spicy about.
Oh man, don't get me started. I can't swear.
You can control yourself, Dan. I believe in you.
All right. So that's socialists.
I see why you wanted to swear.
Yeah, no, well, you get. So I've been on this kick lately of what I'm calling like personal sovereignty. So you have in our community, in the 2A community, you have people that are very much all about personal responsibility, personal protection. We call it kind of the freedom culture, and we're used to it because we're in it every day, and we talk to people that are also like-minded and taking care of yourself. Then there's the opposite side of the spectrum, and it's not red or blue really. It's actually whether you like the government to step in and take care of you or not. I mean, it's really what it is. And so seeing all the stuff kind of when we're recording this, the elections that just went and happened in New York and all that, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. And I don't know.
Well, my hot take on that one is let them ruin it for themselves.
Yeah.
Like, this is what you want? All right. Be careful what you ask for.
Yeah, it is. So
Just don't bring that to Idaho.
it is one of those really weird, like, dichotomy, because if you think about New York, it's Wall Street. It is like the capitalist center of the world. Like it is, and it has been, the kind of beacon of economic hope and freedom. And you think of all of the founding of our country that is all built, the Statue of Liberty, where all of these like
Icons of American culture, right?
Yeah, icons of American culture, but it's for a lot of us the first thing that we think of when you think of what is America. We see the 4th of July and you think, okay, well, the Statue of Liberty, you think of Trinity Church, you think of all of these things that are an embodiment of the American spirit, and you sit there and you're like, they just elected a socialist that was everyone disarmed, and the government is going to step in and fix every problem. And you just go, wow.
Well, I think there's a second hot take on that one, though, and that is a result of our public education system. What have they been doing for the last really 40 years, probably? I mean, I remember going through public school in California, and I had a teacher who encouraged me to read the Communist Manifesto. And so I did, because I thought, well, okay, he's telling me to read it. There must be a reason why. And I read it and was like, this goes against the very fiber of the human spirit,
Nature.
right? Of human nature. We want to be rewarded. We want to work hard and see the rewards of that. We don't want it stripped away and handed to everybody else for the greater good. It was just, I read it and thought it was absolute nonsense. So then I go to talk to him about it, and he was appalled that was my view of it. But how many other people took him up on that and went, oh, well, he's telling us to read this and it must be good. And, and not everyone gets through the public school system unscathed. And it's even worse now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And so hot take, pull your kids. School.
Yeah. We homeschooled our 3 daughters. And
Yeah, we did.
Don't regret
Just graduated out our last one this year.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. But there was a long period of time where we didn't have any money because one of us had to be home to homeschool them,
Mhm.
And so you
Yeah.
you sacrifice, but then I see the fruit of that, where my children see what's going on in the world and they go, what are these crazy people doing? And it's
Yeah.
because they were taught how to think, not what to think.
Yeah, and I think that there is a cognitive disconnect where even if you choose to send your kids to public school, it doesn't mean that all the education that occurs for your child must happen in the public school.
Right.
Right.
And so we focus on Gun Owners Foundation side a lot on the educational aspect. Eric Pratt just wrote a curriculum for the Second Amendment, whether you want to use it as a homeschool curriculum or to add to the conversation in your home, whatever the case may be. There's a baseline kind of framework for Second Amendment education, because ultimately we have to look at anything from a certain level of logic. And if the Second Amendment and the Constitution and the Bill of Rights is a restraint on government, why would the government teach you its own restraint?
Exactly.
Yeah.
There is a level of cognitive dissonance that happens within people who are like, oh, well, they'll learn that in civics. And it's like, well, is there an agenda? And we can, I don't even know that we have to go as far as to say it's a hidden agenda.
They're not hiding it. No, hiding it.
It's just reality. And you can understand how someone in a position of power would want that to be the standard. Why would you teach someone your own limits? Why would you put yourself in that kind of box? And then that adds on to years and years and years. And now you have someone like, a senator, 6 months ago, saying that, your rights don't come from
God.
Yes.
They come from the government.
They come from the government. And it's like, are you kidding me? This is, news to the founders.
Yeah.
News to everyone that has ever paid attention to the founding of our country and the beliefs that we hold. Self-evident that, it's so easy for people to fall into that trap. It's why, over and over again, if you listen to pretty much anything that GOA puts out, we constantly remind people that your rights are constitutionally protected. They're not government granted.
They're not gifts. Yeah.
Because, we have rights, not privileges.
Right.
And so, educating yourselves, educating your children, standing up for the values, it's vitally important. It's not lost on any of us in this room that, this is the midterm elections, and it is the magnitude of the election for midterms is not lost on me when you have what happened in the off-year elections with, the AG in Virginia saying that, not only does he want those that he disagrees with to die, but he wants their children to die in their mother's arms.
Horrifying.
Like, what in the world is happening?
Right.
And so, I'll get off my soapbox. But, stay in the game.
Yeah, stay in the game and make sure you're preparing that next generation, raising them up in the way they should go, right? So that they don't depart from it. That's what we are called to do as parents, right? We're stewards of the next generation. And if we just, send them off to school, I love that Vodi Bakum quote of, why are you surprised when you send your children off to Caesar and then are shocked when they come home Romans, send them off to be educated by Caesar, come back Romans. Why are we shocked? It's our job, right? We're the stewards. And so, it's just, that's why it's so important, especially if you are in like an area where it is a little more volatile, to make sure that you're speaking into their lives, that you're talking with them and, in all the things that they do. Like, I know people that, a lot of their kids do sports and things. And it's like, well, if they're so heavily into sports, then it's even more important for you to not send them 7 to 8 hours a day to school. Like, pick one, and then make sure you have that time with them, because, if the school has more time with your kids than you do, then they're going to win out. Their ideology is going to win out, not yours.
Yeah. And Slightly swaying from this topic, but I guess I'll get on my soapbox one more time because, why not?
Go for it.
And until they cut my mic, I guess we're good. But I do think that, when we look at what is happening culturally, we talk a lot about personal responsibility. We spend a lot of this podcast talking about personal responsibility. We have a responsibility, like you said, to the next generation, but we also have a responsibility to not be so focused on self.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is, it was the norm and the standard to build up society so that you're leaving it better for the next generation. And with the rise of social media and the rise of all of the desire to put yourself first, me time, you deserve this, like all of these things. It really doesn't surprise me when, we are starting to reap the thing in which we've sown, right? And so it does. Sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second. It doesn't surprise me when we are reaping what we're sowing in this situation. And so now is the time to change. Well, what are we sowing? Spending more time with our family, thinking about the Constitution, the founding, the American spirit, the humanity, just like you were saying with, reading the Communist Manifesto and being like, this goes against human nature. Well, we need to start redirecting that so that we can have these freedoms and that we ensure them for the next generation. We have the opportunity here to really rectify things in a way that I think a lot of us thought would be impossible 3-4 years ago.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's been a massive movement in the younger generation toward conservatism. I think some of it has been a little unhealthy, but that's always the case, right? Pendulum, it swung so far left, now it's starting to swing. It's going to swing extremely far right, and then it'll probably, kind of work its way to the middle eventually. But, just not wasting that opportunity, being community focused and pouring into those kids who are seeking that. Who see what we've done so far and they go, I don't like that, and just making sure that we're giving them lots of opportunities to learn and grow and think.
Well, thinking is something that the government doesn't want you to do. So the kids graduate and they can't read, and they're not encouraged to read classics or to think at all because an uneducated population is easier to control. So, when they spend so much time, doing this, they're not using this.
And whether intentionally or not, those YouTube shorts or those TikTok videos, they actually change the way your brain works. And so your attention span is now so short that how are you going to sit and read the Federalist Papers or the Constitution or even just the Bill of Rights? You're not going to understand it either because you're used to video snippets. So, or maybe we create video snippets. We're busy building America's ammunition reserve.
That's right. We'll protect your video snippets.
We'll protect your video snippets.
Guys, thank you again for being on. As a thank you, we have our gift for our guests brought to you by AACM Palmetto State Armory. So you guys will be getting a nice gift for our guests from them.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Very cool.
That's awesome.
So guys, again, go ahead and shout out where people can find you, all that other stuff, just not .com.
Oh, yeah.
2 flags.
Yeah. So our website's AmmoSquared, and then on all the socials, it's AmmoSquared. I know, so we're getting back into Facebook. So that's something new for us. We were off for a couple of years.
More than a couple.
More than a couple of years. I'm not sure if we're getting back on Instagram, but it's ammo_squared is the Instagram handle. X.
We're on X.
AmmoSquared. Yeah. So anyway, so we're on the different socials.
We're not on TikTok.
But we do a lot on our blog too.
Yeah.
So if you go to our website, check out our blog, sign up for the newsletter, and you'll get all of our thoughts and things. I just posted. I try to do things that are more personal now. So we have other articles that are about more technical and different things. So like my last article was about our time driving race cars. So we
Which I highly recommend everybody do.
that's
We'll let you know the next time we go, John.
Guys, again, appreciate you being on. Guys, make sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the little bell for notification, leave a 5-star review. Go to gunowners.org/goals to secure your ticket for Goals 2026, happening in Des Moines, Iowa, GOA's 50th anniversary. Again, that's August 1st and 2nd in Des Moines, Iowa, and that website is gunowners.org/goals. We will see you guys later.